All right, Shalom. As always, we'll start with the story. It's I don't know if any of you heard of Rav Yehuda Leon Penetlo. I think he has an Anadam, but that wasn't Pantelon, something like that. He was famous. Rav Yehuda Leon was like very famous Makubal. He lived not too long ago. So one time he was at home, and a few of his students were with him, and a cat walks in. And he stops, and the cat stops. He's like looking at it for like a minute, then he says, "You're okay, you could go." And the cat leaves the room. Okay, so his student asked him, like, "Rabbi, what was that?" He says, this was a 17-year-old girl that was Machal Shabbat. And it came in a Gilgul as a girl. And it just finished his tikkun, and it just got killed on the street. Like, okay, they were used to this. He was like, so he walks out. Of course, the corpse of the cat was on the side of the street, was just run over by the truck.
Wow, how does the cat do the tikkun? Just by suffering?
I don't know. I think, just being in the body of a cat is it, and then I guess the cat came to ask to see if he's ready to go, and then he told her to go, and that was it. A famous story like that was of Kaduri. Oh my gosh, that's like very spooky. You won't sleep tonight. I'll tell you very different time. But that was like,
I'm so curious. Yes, now they have to tell us.
It's like, I heard it from Rav Pinchasi. Rav Pinchasi he teaches, he lectures in Arachim. So he was a witness of this. It says that the yeshiva that they were in, on Friday night, I'm trying to make sure that I say details, I don't want to add anything to it. Whatever, a cat started coming to the to the yeshiva. Whenever they would start Kabbalat Shabbat, the cat would be coming into the yeshiva. And they're like, what is this? In a yeshiva, 200-300 kids. And then after Kabbalat Shabbat, they would leave. So one of the boys followed the cat all the way from where they were, more in the northern parts of Yerushalayim, probably like Mattersdorf, that area, followed it all the way to Talpiot. You know where Talpiot is? Talpiot is south of Yerushalayim. Pretty much on the way to Gilo. I'm sorry, I should say Bet Lechem. You don't know where Gilo is. On the way to Bet Lechem. And that's where all the mechanics and everything else, in the industrial zone. He follows it all the way there. He says he goes into one of the mechanic shops and just sits there. And they were wondering, what in the world this cat walks all the way to the yeshiva, from Talpiot, stays there for Kabbalat Shabbat and leaves. They didn't know, what it is. So I think Rav Pinchasi himself, he went to Rav Kaduri, and he told him the story. He says, "I'm coming to you this Friday night for Kabbalat Shabbat." And Rav Kaduri comes there. Sure enough, the cat comes in. I don't know what Rav Kaduri said. He says, something. He said, "You see the cat starts spinning in the middle of the Beit Yeshiva, like crazy." And then Rav Kaduri goes like this, and the cat leaves and gets hit by a car, and that was it.
Wow.
The rest I don't remember. Rav Pinchasi said that we asked Rav Kaduri what's going on, and he explained to them what was going on, but I don't remember, so I can't tell you.
Okay.
It has to do with Shabbat, obviously. It doesn't take a genius, but that was an interesting story. I heard this from Rav Pinchasi. I forget his first name. Rav Yosef Pinchasi, I think. Anyhow, all right. So hopefully that will give us a chizuk for Shabbat, kavod of Shabbat, everything that we're learning, Baruch Hashem. So we're back to we were talking about something which is a basis ledavar ha'asur ve'hamutar, right? Something which is a basis, which is a holder or something that is under something which is asur at the same time as it is something which is mutar. We also said we went through few different conditions for something that would conditions that would make something a basis ledavar ha'asur. One is that, remember, the first one was that, try to find, first I should try to find what it is first. Just going through it very fast. It's something which is the muktzeh is on top of, which is something which is mutar. If it's something mutar on top of the muktzeh, does not render it as asur. It's not a basis. Number two, it was something which is a keli underneath. If it's food underneath, that is fine. This thing is coming for the shiur, by the way. This little cricket. It has to be something which is not food. On this there is a machloket, and on this Rabbi Ovadia said, when there is a need, then that food which is under, listen, you have in the freezer, you could have something which is a muktzeh mahmad gufo, and you put it on top of the ice cream. Does the ice cream become basis ledavar asur for the rest of Shabbat? So come on, you need. It's hot out there. You want to give ice cream to your guests. It is, and you need it. Then you could move it, and it does not become a basis. Other poskim say no. Even food becomes a basis ledavar asur. It says b'makom tzorech, when there is a need. Because number three, you said that ba'alim, that the owners should know about it, right? If the owners don't know or they didn't do it, it doesn't become a basis. One person cannot make asur on someone else, something that belongs to him. We said a wife, if she puts something on her husband's chair, that does make it basis ledavar asur, because yishtok gufo, they're one, and just and we also mentioned a gabbai of a beit knesset, a gabbai of a shul. If he put something on the chair, he lit the Hanukkah candles on the chair, right? He doesn't make it asur because he's not the owner. He's a big helper. He does tzorkei tzibur, but he's not the owner to make a decision like that, and therefore the chair could be moved on Shabbat. And also, it has to be that this thing was placed there on Ben Hashemashot, right, on the onset of Shabbat. If it wasn't there then, it was put later on, then it's not considered a basis. Okay? Now, then we said something which is a basis ledavar ha'asur v'hamutar. Something which becomes a thing that holds something which is asur, and at the same time something which is mutar. Then we said if it's the mutar is something which has importance, which is important for me, then it offsets that which is asur on top of that thing, and once those things are removed, then you could go ahead and move the chair, the table, or whatever it is that these things were put on. Prime example would be a drawer, right? In the drawer you have money, which is muktzeh mahmad gufo, and you have other things that you want, like your key, your home key. Definitely your home key would be more important for you than depends how much money. but usually, without this, you're stuck at home. So therefore, it would become extremely important that a person, for a person, and therefore you could open the drawer and take the key out. Now, there's a lot of halachot regarding candles, right? Now, candlesticks themselves, they're a keli, right? They're a keli, and they're not muktzeh per se, unless you have lit candles on them on Ben Hashemashot. That makes it a basis ledavar ha'asur. What is the isur? What is asur? The flame, right? The flame, the fire. That is muktzeh. Okay, muktzeh mahmad gufo. So your candlesticks becomes the candle holder, whatever it is, a candelabra. It becomes a basis ledavar ha'asur, right? Some people take a little cup and they put oil in it and they put wick in it, and that's what they light. So this cup becomes a basis ledavar ha'asur, which is the flame, and therefore it cannot be moved for the duration of Shabbat, right? Even once it was put out, right? Even after it was put out. While it's light, for sure, it's holding something which is muktzeh, and also when you move it many times, the flame goes up and down. That's mav'ir, mechabeh, these things. So anyway, we have a problem. However, even when it's out, we said the rule was migu the itketzai beben hashemashot, because it became muktzeh at the onset, the beginning of Shabbat, the moment Shabbat began. So it remains in the status of muktzeh for the rest of Shabbat. Now, what if you put something on the candlestick, like you hang a keychain that you like, which is not muktzeh, or you put something which is not muktzeh on the candlestick. Remember, we're not talking about the tray yet, right? You have the candlestick on the counter, right? And you want to be able to move the candlestick, and you put something on it so that you would be able to move it. That doesn't help because your candlestick is more important. And that is the basis of the davar ha'asur, which is the flame. What's more important for you? So that's not going to help you because the candlestick was made for the flame. So that's not gonna work. However, if a person made a condition before Shabbat, that always works. Because remember, we said that the candlestick is made special for the flame. But if you make a condition and say, you know what, I would like this candlestick to also be a keli for whatever it is I'm going to hang on it, some ornament which is not muktzeh. And now, after the candle is put out, I will be able to move it. That's fine. That is okay, and one could do it once the candle is out, and it's enough. A person says this once a year. That is enough, and then a person could go ahead and move it for not even the tzorach gufo umkomo. You just feel like, you know what, I don't want this here, for whatever reason. Ashkenazim, I should tell you, Ashkenazim, they're more machmir on this. They say that it becomes a kiddush melachto le'isur. So you could, with a condition, you can only move it. Let's say you need this space. You need to put, guests are coming in the morning, and you need this counter space to put the salads on, for them to take, and so on and so forth. So for Ashkenazim, it becomes a kiddush melachto le'isur. Could only be moved in the condition of tzorach gufo umkomo. But for us, it becomes a kiddush melachto le'heter, right? And therefore, it is one is allowed to move it. Now, one thing that we should mention: if these candles are in a place and we're afraid that once it's put out, we're afraid that maybe it's going to tip over. It was a little wobbly, or it's in a place where it could tomorrow kids are going to be playing ball and they're going to throw the ball and this thing is going to get all over the place. It's going to get all over my clothing. So it's a hezek. It's considered a Rav Chida brings this, that it could it becomes something that you get damaged. So that goes back to the halacha of if a person on the street he sees thorn bushes, they're muktzeh, but he could move them. Why? Because they could hurt people, right? Thorn bushes or broken glass, these things could hurt people. And therefore on Shabbat, right? The person could push him aside. Same halacha comes here with the candelabra, that you're afraid that it's going to fall off and it's going to get your clothing dirty and oily and whatever, the wick is about to fall and it could fall and get things dirty. In that case, we could go ahead and move it. You could ask, we mentioned a couple of weeks ago about our chicken that was let loose and is running around the table breaking things. So no, that's also a damage. Why can't you take that chicken and put it aside? We say this Musa Mahmad Gufo. So we should say the same thing about this. About this candle and candelabra. How could you move it? Just because it's damaging, that's also damaging. There's a big difference. But the chicken, you don't have to. There's other ways. You scream at it, or you go shoo, it'll go away. With the candle, as much shooing, as much screaming as you do, nothing's gonna happen. This thing could fall and get you dirty. So there's a difference there. That's brought down in halakha, that that's the difference. Now, if you put the candelabra on a tray, right, which is what a lot of people do, right? They put the candelabra on a tray, and then they're like the candles. And then what do? They go ahead and they put on this tray something else, like challah or whatever, something of value. They go ahead and they put it on the tray. Now what happens? The tray became basis ledavar ha'asur v'hamutar. Right? Two things. This tray of ours, which is under the candlestick, becomes a basis, a base, for something which is asur, and at the same time something which is mutar.
But the candlesticks are more valuable.
I'm sorry.
The candlesticks are more valuable.
Candlesticks are more valuable. True. Oh, very good. So I think maybe the door got locked. Is that what it is? No. So we're saying that although the candle, sorry, we thought if it's someone that knows, would come from that way.
Yes. I know. I saw I tried that side.
Thought maybe some homeless.
Yeah, I know.
Sorry.
You can't see, so.
No, so so very good question. So again, we're talking about a tray, right? On the tray you have the candelabra. So can you move this tray once the once the fire went out?
No.
Of course not, because it's a basis davar asur. If you put something which is mutar on there, even if its value is less than the candlestick, right? You could still move it. Why? Because whatever it is, it's definitely worth more than the flame. Remember, the only mukse thing here is the flame. That is what makes the candelabra, the candlestick, mukse, basis, right? Otherwise, this candlestick was perfectly fine.
So the same with the keychain.
The keychain, oh, very good. The candlestick is made for the shalhevet. So the keychain that you put on the candlestick, right? That's not going to remove that status of the candlestick from the candlestick. Whatever. But, sorry. But the tray is made to put other things on it. You could serve tea with this tray, right? So therefore, it doesn't take away from the status of this tray, that is not only for the candlestick. If this tray, now I was thinking, if this tray is sold as a set with the candelabra, which they do, they sell that. Like you go to these expensive silver stores, like that's what they have. They have a special tray where they put the candlesticks in, and for a couple of $1,000s, it's yours. Now, what about there? Is that made specially for the candlesticks? I found that no, even in that case, if you decide, look, this is a nice tray, I want to use this to show off to my guests, I could put other things in it, no problem. Then you are showing even even if you just think about it, it's a tray after all said and done. Therefore, it still retains its status of a basis, davar ha'asur ve'hamutar. Of course, you got to put something which is mutar on it. Then you could move it once the candle was put out or went out. Then you could move it.
The mutar needs to be placed from before Shabbat?
Yes, of course. Right.
Well,
Everything.
You can't put it on afterwards.
No, once you put it after, already this thing became a basis davar ha'asur. Your tray, right, became a basis, a foundation for something which was asur at the onset of Shabbat. Once it became asur at that instant, it remains a basis for the rest of Shabbat. So this, everything we're talking about, is before Ben Shmashut, before the sun sets, right? If something muktzeh, by the same token, if something muktzeh was placed on this after sunset, I don't know, one of the kids said, oh, let's see what's going to happen if I put this on the table, on Friday night, or they're playing, somehow they got their hands on it, on a rock, and they put it on whatever, on your plate, on your Shabbat plate.
It's not the owner.
He's not the owner, that's right, number one, you got me. Let's come with a better example. We can't, because he's not the owner and he can't do it.
Your husband.
So yeah, let's see. He woke up, starts sleepwalking, but that also what?
Left the shaver on the
Shaver is a case of Rachel Isur, so therefore it would be allowed to move. It doesn't make it a basis davar asur. It has to be Mukseh Machmak Yitzaron Kis or Mukseh Machmak Gufo. So a shaver is Keli Sheben Rachel Isur is a Keli, so therefore you could move it the Sorach Gufo and Koma, and it does not create a basis underneath. Money. Your husband. By mistake, not by mistake. He was like he thought like this is a good place to leave the money, and he had this he thought that he would want to leave it there for the duration of Shabbat, and no, that's not the case. Friday night he comes home, and he decides he's going to put his money on the pillow, right? forgot. He figured, oh my gosh, I have mukta in my pocket, I have money in my pocket. So he runs to the room, and he just shakes the thing, and lo and behold, it falls on the pillow. That doesn't make it basis davar asur, not at all, because it wasn't there for ben mashot. Therefore, it's not basis davar asur, even though money, your dollar bills, are mukta machmat gufo. Baruch Hashem, we came up with a good example. Interesting thing. I have to tell you this. This is an amazing thing that's brought in the Safari. Okay, here we go. There is Shabbat Brachot. Shabbat Brachot, and they rented out this hall. So let's say the father of the groom is considered the owner, right? And he's all excited and everything, and he lights the candle on a chair. He lights candles, like, on a chair. I don't know, let's say he took the chair, put it on top of the table, he wants it somewhere safe, and he goes ahead and he lights candles on it. Wow, beautiful and everything. He's all proud of himself. What is the status of this chair? But this is the davar asur, right? Before Shabbat he lit it and he left it there. Okay, chazak baruch. The Shabbat Brachot is over at night. So the worker comes and he's cleaning up and everything. And he sees this candle is out. He removes the candles, puts it in a nice place, and he takes the chair and puts it with the rest of the chairs. This chair cannot be moved, right? You can sit on it, right? So let me give you. In Halachot of Batel, there is one. There are a few exceptions. One exception is davar sheyesh lo matirim, something that will become mutar later. Tomorrow, next week, it'll become mutar. It'll never become batel. Because wait, just wait a day. It's a perfect chair. You could sit on it on Sunday or Motzei Shabbat even, if you like. So what happens in this thing? What happens to your chair, right? Can you use this chair? This chair, it shouldn't become batel. Can you understand what happened? So the chair is a basis davar asur. You can't sit on it. You can't move it. You can sit on it, but you can't move it. So this guy, Mustafa, he moved it. He got it all mixed up with the rest of the chairs, and now, what are you gonna do? So the answer is, being that it's the Rabbanan, right? Mukteh is the Rabbanan. So there is the Chachamim were lenient on this. That in this case, it is allowed. It brings a lot of different poskim.
Doesn't it make a difference that it was a goy who did it?
No, doesn't make a difference.
Still.
Doesn't make a difference. But I thought it would be very interesting. Like, what do we do in this case? So they're matir. You could use the chairs, for the duration of Shabbat without worry. Oh, maybe this is the chair. Like, and we say it's fine. You could go ahead and move it.
What if during the party someone used the chair?
Then they can't use it. They can't move the chair. Again, if let's say Mustafa comes and he sees that they need a chair, so he takes the candles, puts them aside, and puts the chair. He goes, "B'chavod, you could sit on it, but you can't move it." But you know what? It's a problem because we are used to it. Like, you want to get up and everything. It's absolutely mukteh, and we cannot move it. Let me see if there is any other thing. No, they bring a slew of sefarim that they say it is fine. You could move it, and it's whatever they give it. Baruch Hashem. Good. Now, a lit candle, we cannot move it, right? As we said before. First of all, it's mukteh, basis davar asur is mukteh. Second of all, when you move it, the flame could go up and down, and then you have mav'ir, igniting, or mechabeh, putting out the fire. Even if the fire goes there, remember, mav'ir, igniting, that means even if you have a flame, but the flame goes up, that's igniting. If the flame goes down, that's putting it out to a certain degree. Let's say you're not worried about that. You're going to move it very, very, very slow. It won't even budge. It's still asur. Why? Because it's basis davar asur. The flame is asur. Now, what if this candle is the same halacha goes with we should have mentioned this before, with a battery operated thing, light. You know, you have a cute candle, you know, battery operated, like, you know, they have them these days, plenty of him. Or I used to have a roommate, this guy was amazing. He had so much kavod for Shabbat. He would even sleep with his suit.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, his tie, suit, vest, he would just sleep like that. It was unbelievable. So he would light. So in the yeshiva, they didn't let anyone light candles in the dorms. No way, the whole place would go up in flames. So he had 2 candles he bought. This is back in the day, years ago. 2 candles, electric candles, and he would make a baracha, and he would plug them into the light, and whoo, we had the beautiful candles, like, you know, electric candles. That is muktzeh. You cannot move it. This is, you know, because it's a basis for the shalhevet, for that flame which is on it, and it becomes muktzeh. Right? That's understood. So anything that has a light bulb on it, that light bulb is an issue. It becomes it's a basis of davar ha'asur. Let's say your fan. We say fans are okay, you can move them. But if it has little bulbs on it, little lights, you know, all these LED, you know, like airplane thing, then you want to move it, you can't, because it's a basis of davar ha'asur, right? It's a basis for this. Some people want to say that no, those little lights aren't meant for lighting; they're just indicators. I don't know. I can't tell you that it's that it's allowed. If it's in one place and you just want to turn it, that's not asur. But if you want to move it, right, then we have an issue.
But you can move a fan,
The fan we can,
even if it's on?
even when it's on, right?
Even though it's electricity, you can move it?
Yeah. It's a kiliche menachto leisur, and it's sort of kufu umkomo, we could go ahead and move it, right?
Not shinoi, just move it.
Just move it, yeah. Just take it like this and move it. Shinoi, that's something else.
So if it's a light, you can't move it.
If it has a light, so now
Let's say
if
there's
that
a light. Let's say there's a
you
lamp.
can't move it. You could turn it, but you can't move it. By turning it, you're not moving it really. It's just in one place.
About the crock pots, they have this.
They have the indicator light. Oh, really? They have?
They have.
They should. Makes sense. So you want to move the whole pot.
Even sometimes if it's dirty, it's sticky.
You don't want to.
Yeah, you take it out, then.
It moves. So that movement is beshinu. You have no problem. That's kelachariyat. If as you're taking it out, the thing starts moving, like, you know, dancing around, that's fine because you're not literally moving it. But the question is like this: you just want to push it back because you need the space on the counter. That would be the tzorach kufo umkomo for pushing it. It's a good question. I have to check into it. I have to check into that one.
That's only if it has a light.
That's only if it doesn't have a light, then you have nothing to worry. You could no problem. Regular, just push it back, not a problem. Just
But LED is
don't
not.
get burnt.
It's
not fire.
Yeah.
Because it's what is it called? Light emitting diodes. That's the LED, right?
What about a plata?
Maybe. That's not a problem either. That's
Even
not a
though
problem.
it's heat coming out of it?
Even though it's heat coming out, that's not a problem. You need the tzorach kufo umkomo. You need to push it back because you need the
So
space.
what's different from a light than from...
A light is a basis ledavar ha'asur. It becomes a base for something which is asur, which is the shalhevet, the flame, which is that light. That's the problem. You brought up a good question about the fluorescent or LED, which I have to check into
But there's
that.
no way to know. Are they all LEDs, the indicator lights?
Oh, those? No, the older ones aren't, for sure not. The newer ones, yeah, of course. It makes sense.
Like I heard, if you want to make a phone call, it's better to do it with a cell phone than your home phone, because your phones.
Your home phones have lights.
Yeah.
Cell phones also have lights.
But
So what do we
their
do?
cell phone is LED.
Because it's LED, it's light. It definitely should be easier. It definitely should be easier. That's very true. Back in Israel, when we were in Kol, like, you know, the Rosh Kol would tell us, guys, make sure you have a set of phones. Who had cell phones? Somebody had cell phones back then. But make sure one of the phones at home is the type that doesn't have the light, you know, the backlit, the light, no light comes on. Back then, you could still find those. Nowadays, you can't. Okay, I'm going to look into that Be'ezat Hashem and find out.
So sorry, so along these lines, so a toy, there are
Which
these
has
bouncy,
lights.
not lights, yeah, it has lights, and it's battery operated. but you put it on the off.
Okay.
Off. So there's like this bouncy seat. So I can't put her in there even though it's off.
If it's off, then what's the question? If it's not going to turn on, it's off, then you have no problem.
So as long, if it's completely off, then we don't have a problem.
Yeah.
And if she's in there
And she
and
decides,
somebody else comes and turns it on so she could have some fun,
Of course, chesed.
should I should I take her out while it's playing? Because it plays when there's
When
movement.
there's movement. No, let her have fun.
I can't keep there all Shabbos.
Why? Is just going to continue? Really?
Well, it's a bouncy seat. I want to take her out eventually. She needs to eat and sleep.
If she wants to come out, then you take her out. But right now, let her have fun. I know it sounds weird, but...
No, I'm saying if
because
I
of your
move her,
movement, it's going to cause that it's going to make the sound and the lights are going to
right?
turn
So
on
I
and
should
off.
take her out while it's already playing.
Yeah, that would be the best.
Then
Right,
I-
for sure, because then you're not turning it on. Kelachayat, that's not your intention. There's a lot of heterim for that. It's not your intention. It's a pesikreshe, the lo nichale, b'derabanan. So there's a lot of heterim there to take her out. Now, as we were saying, this candle or this electric light bulb is in a room, and someone, barminan, it shouldn't happen. Someone is not feeling well. Okay, can't sleep because it's bothering the person, the light. Can you take this? We said you can't move it. Very slowly, the candle or this light, take it out of the room if you can. It's the type that could be moved. Can you do that?
No.
Yeah, you could. Because on this, Chachamim didn't make a gezerah. We said it's midrabanan. And poor thing is sick. Chachamim didn't make a gezerah for a chole.
How sick does he have to be?
It has to be that it's bothering the person. If he just has a headache, I want to sleep, then, But if it's someone who's not feeling well, his body is hurting, he needs to rest. Needs to rest. Then in that case, we could definitely move it. No, it's not a sur.
It's gonna be harsh.
Right? No, and then for kids, there's a nice question in this brought down in the poskim. If am I late? No. So there is before Shabbat, it shouldn't happen. There was a blackout, right? And they have, in Israel they have these emergency lights. That when there's a blackout, this little portable emergency, it's like a flashlight, fluorescent light. They come on when the light goes off. So these things come on. Or there was no light and you turn the light on, a flashlight. You have a lantern and you turn it on before Shabbat. Okay, chazak u'baruch. We said it's mukseh. You can't move it around. One of the kids wants to go to the room and they're very scared, right? Or excuse me for saying it, they want to use the restroom and it's pitch dark. It's night, What can you do? Again, for the child, the child is considered a chole she'en bo sakana. Remember, some say until they're 3 years old, some say until they're 6. Most poskim say until they're 9, 10 years old. They're chole she'en bo sakana. So there's a lot we could do. We could certainly move muktzeh, especially this muktzeh is easier to move for them. You could take this and put it in the room. If all them around they need to use the restroom, we could go ahead and do that.
How about a candle?
A candle, very, very slowly. If you move it, as long as you make sure that it doesn't go up and down, even a candle.
But if it goes up and down, okay.
What? If you know it's going to go up, that's not your intention. You try. You try as best you can. Your intention is not that it should go up and down,
Is
but
it possible that it's not gonna go up and down?
yeah, for sure. Especially candles. If it's oil, a little bit harder. But if it's the regular paraffin candles, that's fine. You could, if you're careful, it won't happen.
Shabbat candles can be used for this case.
Shabbat candles, that's what they're for, right? They're not like Hanukkah candles. They're here for Shalom Bayit, for us to use and to enjoy. Obviously, we're not saying that we should all the Shabbat go dance with our Shabbat candles. But if you light with oil, which is the best, then it would be much harder to move. Much harder to move. All right. Bezat Hashem, we shall continue.